enjoy.
Enjoy.
Make sure the heat was on, because it was pretty cold in here earlier.
It's super hot, super cold. Remember that thing we did in here, how hot it was? Yeah.
Gonna warn you right now, I'm pretty sure I just broke the YouTube stream for this before we even got going. So if anyone tries to blame you, it's my fault.
Okay. All right.
The team's call and all that's fine, but the YouTube stream that we're probably not used to having anyway is, I think, not gonna come back.
Okay.
We gave that out last month, they're just copies for, if you need to hand them out or whatever else.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody, you guys need a copy of anything, or you good?
Got it, thanks.
All right. Dennis, you need one?
Remind me how we start?
What?
How do we start?
Call to order.
Call to order.
Minutes.
Minutes. Walk me through it, Rob.
Motion to approve the minutes of the October, the October 8th, 9th meeting.
Is there a motion to approve the October minutes?
Second? I mean, make a motion to.
Motion?
approve it,
Second?
yeah. So moved.
Okay. Roll call for that, Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
Okay, approved. So then you just gotta go through the next couple of pieces here. Just read the public input, the public participation. I'm guessing they're from DCR, so no need for them to go up at that point, and then I'll go into mine, so, but we need to read that first piece there.
Remind me where it is.
Number 4, a person may speak, I'll take care of it. So a person may speak for no more than 3 minutes in total on any appearing agenda item. We don't have anybody online, we do not have anybody in here, so we can bypass that unless anybody wants to speak outside of the presentation or discussion that we're gonna have on the agenda. Okay, so we're good there. Commissioner's report, which is mine. In your packages is our third quarter calendar year, first quarter fiscal year, work type breakdown for you. So there's 2 items in there. There's watering, which is the bar graph, and then the pie graph is our work type breakdown on there. So we had talked about giving this out every quarter and doing it in that way, and then at the end of the calendar year, we'll put together one big unit for the calendar year for the commission to review. So you'll see on the watering side, this is a combination. There's 2 pieces to this. There's the watering program that we operate with our seasonal help, which includes 2 seasonal help that go out Monday through Friday and water the newly planted trees, and fill the gator bags on the newly planted trees. So we have 2 trucks set up with a watering tank on each. They go out every day, fill up all of our trees, and that's the number on that end. The secondary number, the shorter bar graph there, is a contracted service that we have with Jam Corp, which is our planting contractor. So outside of the window of the summer, when we have seasonal help, and then the seasonal help go back to school or they wean off, we hired Jam Corp to do the watering of the trees. And so that's what that number is for month of September and until last week.
Right.
Until last week.
Till the first frost we had.
And a point of information, those are individual watering events. I stopped at this tree, I watered.
Yes.
That's one.
Yep.
Okay.
And so what we do is we track that and we put that back in to make sure that we know where we've been and what we've gotten done on a regular basis. And then the work type is the work types that we have on that. I'm happy to take any questions. Other than that, that would be the end of my report, Mr. Chairman.
How many trees were being watered?
352.
How many trees are being planted did you plant spring and fall?
No fall, just spring.
Just spring? How many were planted in the spring?
352.
That's all of them?
Yep.
So,
That doesn't count, so the one thing that does not take count are the ones that we planted in parks that are part of construction projects. So what we're working on now is to coordinate our communication between our capital project group and our forestry group so that those trees get counted as part of our regular planting program. So like if you go by Tacoma Street Playground currently, we just planted a whole bunch of trees along Tacoma Street in front of the synthetic turf field. You go to, any of our other jobs, when we finish up Great Brook Valley in the spring, there'll be a bunch of trees planted there. And so those will all, what we're working on is making sure that those get transferred over to the forestry side as well, so that we can make sure that we're having an accurate count of how many trees that we planted within the calendar year.
There's 350 trees, you'll just water them this year, not next year?
Yeah, this will be it for
Correct.
this year, correct.
Okay.
Now, we are willing, if there's neighborhood support, or an individual support that is willing to continue to fill a gator bag or whatever, we're more than happy to work with them on that. Right, and we can do that. It's just, we won't be going back there with that, because we're gonna have another whole new set of trees, that are gonna need to be planted, that are gonna get planted in the spring, even more than we did this year or next year. So we're gonna need all of those resources to be able to even just water those newly planted ones.
How long has that been the model?
So when we first started after ALB was detected and we did that initial planting, we worked with Tower Hill on that watering program. Since then, the state funding on that has dwindled from over $200,000 to nothing. And so when that started going down that way, we re-emphasized or repositioned some of our staff that we were hiring on the park side to give forestry the opportunity to take 2 staff people to be able to do the watering. So that's been happening 3 years?
3 years.
3 years.
seasons. Yep.
So 3 seasons. And so that's where that has gone, and that's sort of been the system that we've been using on that side of it. So they show up with our forestry staff, truck gets filled, they go out, they come back, they report back the trees that they completed, and we log those in, and then the next day is the same thing and goes back and forth.
What's the mortality?
So far this year, I think we lost 2. Now, remember, that's only,
That's great.
next spring, I never like to tell mortality, because next spring, obviously, Alex knows will show.
Right.
But considering what we had to deal with weather-wise this year, I think this is one of the best years we had. And I will say, I think it's because of the aggressiveness. We had 1 extra laborer for watering. Rob was able to manicure create another avenue for us to get a brand-new pickup truck, which created another water. So we were putting out, what was they, 275 gallon, 200? Right, so we were able to pump a lot of moisture out into these trees. The kids or the staff, I want to say they were averaging 30 a day. So that's pretty good. And then we supplemented, as the commissioner said, at the end, when those kids went back to school, we supplemented the balance of the 3 weeks. And the trees were already going dormant by then. So it was more or less, let's stretch as much as we can. And soon as that first sort of frost hit, I pulled it. It becomes a waste after that.
I just, one question. How do we arrange to make sure that we're picking up the bags, recovering the bags at the end of the watering period? And walking around my district, I had somebody ask me about why they're empty.
Right after, when there's a transition, so just before the students leave and our contractor comes off, we send that student out or that position out to go pick bags.
Mm-hmm.
So the contractor's sort of following behind, or it's kind of not working seamless, but he's picking and he's ahead watering.
Mhm.
So by the time he gets around, those bags are being
Gone.
picked.
Okay.
In a perfect world, but that's our goal.
Yeah.
Then those bags are brought back. They're tied in bundles of 10 and stored in a heated building.
Thank you.
Nobody's stealing them, taking them, there's less every year, we have to buy more, that kind of thing?
Yes, we have to buy more every year, and that's not so much from vandalism as much as it is wear and tear, zippers break, they do crack, I mean, but we do.
Which is why you keep them heated?
We're doing, they hold up fairly well. The
Yeah.
vandalism isn't so much an issue.
Okay, thanks.
Where do you buy them from? Just out of curiosity. I've been buying gator bags recently, and
What's
what do you pay for them?
a lot?
Forestry,
I was trying to,
used to be, Lesco, and then they bought out by John Deere, and now it's a company called Site One, we ordered through them.
it's like $16 per.
Yeah, they're close to 2017 something a piece, they're not cheap.
Uh,
Not cheap.
Yeah, I was trying to, like, the more you buy, the it drops like $1. But anyhow,
We buy a lot and they're not giving us a break. It's a contracted price. And we don't get the donuts. We were gonna try that, but I like the uprights a little bit better.
it's not the same thing, but I've been using for trees that I don't know if we are going to get water to, tree diapers.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I looked into it. I thought it's a pretty good idea and we talked about experimenting with them maybe next year.
They're pretty
I
neat.
like the idea of
They
it.
really fill up. So ones that we're kind of like, I don't know how we're gonna get water to these. We've been putting and you gotta soak them ahead of time.
Right.
But I put one across the street from me and one in my yard, and they fill up full of water. And even when it's like been kind of dry, I'm surprised at how full that thing is. So it's definitely something worth exploring.
Yeah,
Maybe for
definitely.
like park situations. I don't know how well they'd work on the street, and especially if you got somebody who's gonna water them, then
Right.
stick with what you're doing.
Is that a product that decomposes by itself, or it has to be
It's
removed?
like this, no, you can put them like under mulch,
And
and it says it keeps the roots warm in the winter.
Yeah.
They claim it's helpful.
So
to
they
leave
eventually
'em.
break down or whatever,
I
but they're
guess.
left, they're not collected and removed, so.
Yeah, I don't know how much breaking down they do, because it's like actual diaper material in there
Oh,
that absorbs the water.
Right.
It might be there forever.
It might be there forever.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have on my report.
Thank you.
So now it's all you. So, old business, unless, Mr. Chairman, you want to skip old business for right now and go right to new business, so we can get our guests to give them a chance to go, and then fall back, because it's only the three of you and them and us. So maybe that's our best case scenario right now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's give them a chance to go and get out of here if they'd like.
Okay, so you would be going to new business number A.
So we-
That's no worries. Afternoon.
Hello, thank you for
Hey.
joining us.
You should be
Yeah,
able to
appreciate it.
stand regularly and it'll pick
Okay.
you up.
Thank you. Appreciate the invite, Commissioner Alexander. So welcome. My name's
Call
Paul.
me AJ, or
Nice.
Elton's my last name.
Nice. So my name is Paul. I'm a forestry assistant working for Green and the Gateway Cities, Worcester.
I'm also a forestry assistant working for the Green and the Gateways City.
We work for Carolyn and Mark, who are the foresters here. Carolyn being the city forester that administers the Green and the Gateway Cities program here in Worcester, and Mark being the regional forester. Unfortunately, neither of them were able to attend today. Just introducing Green and the Gateway Cities program, some of you might be familiar with it. It's the program that buys and plants free shade trees for residents of Worcester and several other cities around other cities around the Commonwealth. So initially, the program it started after the ALB removals trees. Clark University did a study back in 2010, indicating that residents that had the trees clear cut on their streets or on their properties were seeing 40% higher energy increases. So EAA got it in their minds to start a pilot program in Chelsea, in Holyoke, and Fall River back in 2014 to basically offer free trees at no cost planted by DCR staff in an effort to try to recover the urban canopy that were being lost in those cities, just over time or through neglect or any number of those. So Worcester specifically, we started back in 2022. We didn't actually plant any trees until the spring of 2023. Initially, our program goals are a bit different. We were focused mostly on the areas that had the highest percentage of renters, lowest canopy, English isolation, and just overall environmental justice needs. So at that time, our zone was only encompassing parts, if you can imagine, where the centers of zone of districts 2, 3, and 4 meet, just on Vernon Hill and Union Hill. We started that spring, and I think we planted 351 trees during that first year. Pretty high percentage of them were on public property, since we were having issues actually getting in with renter communities, and reaching out to landlords on some of the streets that needed it the most. But in 2024, our program metrics changed. We were focusing more on some of the wildlife value, pollution mitigation, and overall quality of life, and that energy ended up extending our zone out to most of the city, save for a little bit of the northern parts of District 5 and the western parts of District 1. So since then, I believe just this morning we planted our 1,219th tree, which is a little bit more than halfway on our goal of reaching 2,400. So in 3 years, I feel like we're making pretty good progress. Of that, roughly 73% of what we've planted has been on private property, the rest being on public property or state property. And we have our own approvals process that we go through. We usually reach out to Dennis and submit any of the requests. And oftentimes these come from residents themselves who will want a tree in the backyard, but then also want a tree on the strip. Other times they'll request trees on the street, just in areas that they've noticed, or we will happen to see opportunity as we're driving by one particular area or another and put out a request for it. So the way the program's set up is residents reach out to us via maurbancanopy.org. There's a hotline that people can leave a voicemail, like indicating their name, address, and the height that they want a tree. Or they can also submit a digital ticket on maurbancanopy.org. We get those requests, we call them back, schedule a site visit, and then either ourselves or the foresters will go out and conduct a site visit where we'll be assessing for the amount of space that's actually available, to seeing what we can feasibly site, making sure that we're not siting excessively large trees in tight spaces or siting dinky trees in big open fields. We want to try to get the maximum value out of the amount of space available. Also checking for utility conflicts. We make sure to dig safe and double check with the water for any property that we do before we bring anything out. Once that's all set and the paperwork's been signed off, we submit it. We go ahead and order the trees from our contract nurseries in Amherst and Bigelow, and we have them delivered to our yard, and we've been taking them out to plant. For the ones that we do on public property, we do have our crew go out and water those trees for the first couple of years. Much like you guys, we are using gator bags. We're using gator bags, and we also have the same issues with them being vandalized, mostly by weed whackers, rather than anything else than that. But yeah, as of so far, we're 3 years in, and we're about halfway through to meet our project goals. Thank you.
I think, thank you for being here.
Certainly.
I think obviously your program, the project, and the tree commission, I think the city forestry, we share a lot of the same objectives. If there are ways that the tree commission could support the work you're doing, get the word out to our individual districts. The internet was working for me a minute ago. I was trying to see what kind of presence your program has on the city's website, making sure that these opportunities for residents are being as publicized as they could be.
Yeah.
Do you see any, as you're doing the work, ways that the city, the tree commission could help be supportive of the program?
So we've actually been having a lot of difficulties. We've been in discussion with this. So during their initial year, we were just planting in that limited zone. Last year, we did a lot up in District 1. And then this year, we've been actually doing quite a bit of planting in District 2 and 5. But where we've really been struggling is in District 4, Green Island, Main South areas with very high renter and absentee landlord populations. If there is any city work going on and any trees, either in the strip or on city property nearby, and if there is opportunity to get in touch with the homeowner, the actual owner of some of those triple deckers, if it could be mentioned that this program is available to replace trees on private property, to at least get the word out for people that we're having a hard time contacting otherwise. That'd be greatly appreciated.
Is the problem with the landlords not being able to contact them or identify them, or them not returning attempts to contact?
Honestly, it's mostly them just not returning any attempts that we've made to reach out to them.
Okay, that's what
Whether
I
by
mean.
email or mail, or even just old-fashioned mail.
So
They
it's
just do
failure
not.
for them to respond.
Yes.
department, maybe?
When the city needs to get a hold of absentee landlords, what do you all do? Anything differently than the state?
So usually if we're looking for that, we'll use the city's property, property tax, property ownership records, and reach out that way. Our, what we get from that, it can be minimal sometimes as well, unless we start going down the road of sending certified and, but for the majority of what we're looking to do, it's really not, doesn't rise to that occasion. But we would use the property tax records for that purpose, or the ownership records. Because those are the ones that own the property or whatever else. A lot of times the renters don't want to do anything because they don't own that property. They may want it and they may request it, but they don't own it, so.
Okay, so, I don't know if it's who's here to ask this, but I'd like to bring it up. Why can't we do a mailer with the tax mailing about the trees to the people who own commercial property, the commercial property tax bills?
So a lot of times what happens is that has to be pre-planned
Oh, yeah.
6 months in advance or whatever that is.
Yeah.
We have found it easier to, if we have a certain neighborhood or a certain area that we're sort of focusing in on,
Yeah.
is just looking at that and pulling just that area. So so a lot of times, like with park renovations, we'll pull a 1,000-foot radius from the property line of the park.
Okay, and then have
And-
a list pulled?
And then the list gets pulled and gets automatically generated for us.
All right.
So that is sometimes a lot easier, particularly if you're looking for certain neighborhoods or certain areas. Because if you put it in the property tax bill, everybody's gonna get it. Because they're not gonna separate it between commercial, residential, industrial, right? So everybody will get that.
Okay.
So we've tried to do it a little bit differently. Then the other thing that we've done is we've gone from doing a letter to, we use a green card,
Okay.
right? So it's a little more, they see it right away, it's identifiable, it's
Tight.
fluorescent, green. We use that formula. Again, sometimes it works really, really well, and sometimes it's, it doesn't. But it really depends. Particularly if you want property owners.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to get just general people to come out for an event or something, that's more of a, going to the neighborhood groups, going to the community development corps, going to the crime watches and doing that. What may be worthwhile is if DCR has a grouping there, maybe there's some functionality for them to get onto some of the neighborhood group meetings, the crime watches and that, if they haven't done that already, but go that route where you'll end up getting, you'll at least get the people that are interested, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe you have something that those people
that
then
you can
can
sell.
give out and have something to sell and get the word out a little bit better. So that's another option that we use a lot when we're trying to do it. The other one that we've used are the churches.
Okay.
So if you reach out to the churches, a lot of times they're willing to put something on their bulletin.
Yeah.
Or, some will, some won't mention it as part of like announcements at their service. Towards the, at the end of their service, they'll have announcements and, it's First Communion, it's, we're having this social, we're having coffee of this day, and hey,
I can see that
DCR is
happening.
looking for information, and please look at the bottom of your bulletin, and there's contact information there as well. So another route that we've used in certain circumstances when we feel like we're not gonna get a large enough. And then the pastors have been really good on that end of trying to get the word out and helping us as well.
Cool.
It's a lot of legwork, though. I mean, it's a heavy lift. It's a lot of legwork. But depending on what you want out of it, sometimes you got to go down that road.
All right. Good ideas.
So, try to use the commission as a resource, like we all represent a different district. and we all have attending public meetings on our to-do list. Maybe we could coordinate and attend meetings together. I think, like Rob said, churches is a great idea, also like rec centers, public libraries, like this is probably stuff that y'all know, but
And you could, going to those meetings, it's nice to have something. You would give us a nice little package to present. If
Yeah.
you have something that you think you might want to target towards the smaller groups that you've written up or whatever, when you go, it's nice to have a little extra to present, because I'm working on doing that, and I don't know what when I get there, I'm like, anybody got any complaints? It would help if I got a little pitch when I come.
Yeah.
And that would be good.
I do want to mention that the Registry of Deeds has been pretty helpful for trying to track down some of these property owners in the past, and we have utilized that.
thank you for coming. And if it's possible, just like kind of annually at the end of fall plantings, if someone, you from DCR, could come and sort of just let us know how the plantings are going and how we could be helpful, it'd be great. Like, keep in touch, keep working together.
Yeah, I'd be happy to pass that information along to Mark and Carolyn. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we need to decide what you would like to do with that item. So, file, table, push to old business. We'd have to decide how you want to, what you like to do.
So,
File takes it off the agenda completely. Table, we'll leave it on the agenda under tabled, and you can bring that up at a future meeting to take it off the table. You wouldn't be able to discuss it at that meeting, you'd be able to discuss it at the next meeting. Or it's old business and it just sits there, and every month you need to reapprove it to stay in old business.
I think we want to file it. I think
Okay.
we wanna file
Yeah, and it'll come up again new next year.
it. Yeah, new next year. So,
So I'll need a motion and a second.
Motion to file that, please.
And a second? Joy? Second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Elton,
yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
If we can go back to the Commissioner's report, I'd like, my recommendation would be to file this as well. So I need a motion and a second to file the Commissioner's report.
Motion to file the commissioner's report.
Second.
Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, we are now back on old business number A, or letter A. And this is Commissioner Winborn.
I guess I can read it. Request to finalize a tree species list to submit to planning. Does anybody have any updates on the tree species list that they wanted to share?
I have a draft template, and did I don't know if it's appropriate to share that now, or I should share that before the next meeting so everybody has a copy to review. So I guess we will table this until next time.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we keep it on old business. So
Okay.
recommend a motion to keep in old business, and that you'll submit something to me for inclusion at the next meeting, where the commission can further discuss it unless Commissioner Winborn has anything else or Commissioner Johnson has anything else.
No.
No? So we need a motion to place into to keep in old business.
Make motion to place that into old business.
Second?
Second.
All right. Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
B. Again, Commissioner Winborn.
To discuss current board organization, which I think also kind of intersects with perhaps old business. I'm scrolling up to old business. Is there any updates on vacancies being filled that you have to share?
Commissioner Winborn, I think
Yeah.
you're on new business, not old business.
Oh,
So the next one on old business is the update on EAB Newton Hill.
okay. Yes, I was in the wrong spot.
So the last time, at the last meeting, we filed the item on the vacancy stuff. Actually, we're all messed up here. So, hold on. Okay, so we need to go back. I apologize. All right, Mr. Chairman, we need to go back to, so we've taken care of new business A, which was the presentation. We just did new business B. So new business B is the,
So new business C, discuss current board organization.
so hold on one second. New business B is the discussion of tree species. So we did that. Hold on one second. Crossed out. All right, so that's that, and then we'll go to new business C, which is the board organizations. Let's just stay on new business. We'll get this one done. New business B.
Joy, would you like to talk about it?
All right, so Commissioner Winborn, if you want to talk about new business C, which is the request of Commissioner Winborn to discuss current board organization, let's work on that one, and then we'll go back to old business. So I missed it, so my apologies to the board.
Got lost on the next page.
I don't actually recall adding this to I'm looking at my little Google Doc of our agenda items. I don't recall adding it, but in general organizational terms, it would be good to hear an update on if there's any new interviews with the kind of vacancy that we're trying to fill, if there's any updates on that front.
So when I looked at the Google Doc, there was something on there about this piece. But in any case, it's on there, so we can discuss it quickly. There has been no other movement as of right now for that last spot. The D4 spot as of this moment. I know HR is working through some changes in some of that world as well. So I don't have an update for you at this point in time. I've broached the subject of the possibility of sort of that large piece, but with all the other things sort of going on, it hasn't risen to the priority level that with the law department or whatever else. So at least at this point, it's the status quo, and we'll work with HR to try to fill that last spot.
And I guess I'll just remind all the commissioners to just, put the word out there for that district. Can you remind us all which district it is that's vacant? I mean, it's also on the agenda notes, which
Yeah, it's District 4.
is handy.
Yeah, that's the one that's left.
Yeah, and just a reminder, in the Google Doc that we have for agenda items, I've been using the new tab feature to kind of organize things. So there's quick links if you need a reminder of where districts are. There's a link to a map from the Worcester website. And I believe I emailed Rob, but I also, using the tab feature, have added kind of archiving our agenda requests, and then also our current agenda requests so that they're right at the top there for you to pull from, as well as the tab for news articles to share, because that was something that came up at our last meeting. So as you come across any interesting articles about urban forestry that relate to or are currently occurring in Worcester, that's like another place to dashboard them to get pulled onto agenda at a later point. So a few organizational updates to share with everybody.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, we will need a motion to either file, put a table, or send to old business, new business C.
I motion to table this.
Second?
Second. No, motion second, we're good.
Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
All right. All right, Mr. Chairman, we're gonna go back to old business now. So, old business A, which is request of Commissioner Winborn for the commission to set goals for the commission.
That is one that we leave on the agenda to just make sure that if that's something we want to talk about, that we have space to talk about it. So if there's anything goal related, encourage any other commissioners to bring that up. Or to, if it comes up at a later point in time in our Google Doc that we have for agenda items to share with Rob, at the top is kind of a brain dumping of ideas that we can be putting onto our future agendas, and then a highlighted section for Rob to pull each meeting as it comes up. But I currently have nothing on my mind to bring up. Does any other commissioners?
I do. Just as I'm still getting my feet wet here. So during the time between here, I did some work on the BMP section, and even today, after looking at what I did, I realized it wasn't clear, and I looked back. I sent one copy to Rob and one copy to you. What should I have done with that so that would have been available to everybody and to bring it under discussion? So.
Yeah, great question. I saw that email earlier today, but didn't have a chance to
Yeah.
really dig into it. But it looked like you had done a bit of research, kind of starting to synthesize what are the things that are in tree ordinances.
Yeah.
And so on the Google Doc, there is quick links. If you go to the quick links tab, there's 5 little quick links there. And one of them is a link to a folder that is all of our tree ordinance research.
Okay.
And so I would populate it there so that this is a folder that all of the commissioners have access to, and one that we've been using to kind of organize all of the great research that everybody's been doing. If you go into that folder, there's a lot of subfolders, existing ordinances, news articles about ordinances, peer-reviewed literature. It's kind of digging into details of different things about ordinances. There's our drafts of tree species list. So AJ, that might be a good spot to populate the draft that you've been working on to share with everybody. And then there's a folder on notes and drafts. In there, there's what's called draft_tree ordinance. That's our current ordinance in a Google Doc form so that we can start making active edits to it when we get to that point. And then there's notes. And I think putting it in the notes document might be the best place for it. Because there's a tab for everybody. So I'll add a tab for you. I haven't done that yet, but there's a tab for each commissioner to populate their notes on the research that they've been doing.
Excellent, thank you. Answered my question well.
So, Mr. Chairman, if there's nothing else, my recommendation is to keep this on old business. We'll need a motion and a second.
One thing I would like to add for our next commission meeting is beech leaf disease. Two two things. First of all, there are a lot of beaches in Worcester, privately and publicly owned, and the the research has been fairly depressing over the last couple of years until recently. Connecticut Extension had some very encouraging research, and it seems that there's affordable, easy solutions for treatment of beach leaf disease. So the two things, public education for people who are responsible for managing beach trees, and then working with the city to make sure the trees that we need to save, protect, are, that we're moving in that direction.
So, Mr. Chairman, my recommendation is that we can make a motion right now to include that as a discussion point, since we can't discuss it because it wasn't on the agenda.
Right.
We can do that now, and then I'll add it to under new business at the next meeting.
Okay, yep.
Right, so motion has been made by you. I need a second for the motion,
I'll second that.
all right? Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
Okay. Now go back to B.
A
Right.
motion to table it.
A would be to table it. No, file it. No, old business, sorry.
Right, so it stays on.
Stays in old business. Correct, Commissioner Winborn? You'd like to keep it in old business. Table means
Which
it goes on the table, you gotta take it off the table, and you can't talk about it until the meeting after that. So,
Are we talking about item A in
A.
old business?
yes,
Keep it in old business.
okay. So motion to keep it in old business.
Second.
All right, so Commissioner Winborn is the one, second is by Elton. Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
Okay. Old business B. Commissioner Winborn, this one's you
That is, yeah.
regarding Newton Hill and EAB.
Yeah, is there any updates on that front? I know we talked about it last meeting, and I'm trying to remember where we ended off with that. But I believe our updates were like there were some tree removal and some treatment, and it's in queue for being part of a bigger park strategic plan for doing successional planning, because those ashes will have to be replanted. That park will have to be redesigned. But if you have any updates since our last meeting,
Yep, so,
maybe the request.
so we've had some discussions internally with our capital project staff on this particular issue. There's currently no funding for a redesign at this point, but we're trying to come up with some other options or some other possibilities, and we're working through that right now. Hopefully, if not in December, January, I'll have a better understanding of maybe some ideas that will get us at least a short-term stopgap measure to try to move some sort of design components along. So we'll have a better feel for that, and then we'll look to see how it may fit into our capital program for fiscal year '27, which would begin in July. So I'll have an update for you. My recommendation would be is to keep this in old business, and as soon as I have an update, then I can let everybody know.
The one other thing is if there's any updates from our commissioners that are at the intersection of those two districts where that park is aligned. So that would be AJ and Joe, if you have any updates, because I know as a commission, our previous conversations have been to reach out to the community to start to compile what their wish list is and concerns and other things that would be really helpful in the planning process.
I do I do not have an update.
I have nothing new on.
Okay. So again, recommendation would be is to keep it in old business. I'll need a motion and a second.
Motion keep B in old business?
Second,
Commissioner Elton,
yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we are now on old business C, which is the BMP review. The city has received responses from Commissioner Caraway Waterhouse as well as Commissioner Johnson on the BMP stuff. Still looking for any comments on your behalf and Commissioner Winborn's behalf. If there's no major discussion, my recommendation would be is to keep it in old business, wait for those responses, and then have a discussion once we have everything together as one unit instead of piecemealing it together. So that would be my recommendation unless the commission has any other discussion points on this topic.
I just wanted to,
Go ahead, Joy.
I just wanted to also highlight the goal with the BMP, which if I understand correctly, Rob, is both to get feedback and edits and for us to discuss that as a commission, but then also to vote as a commission for this to be approved or a draft of it to be approved to like move on to the next stage with it. Is that correct, Rob?
That is correct, yes.
And I have my edits. I will email them to you.
Perfect, thank you.
I went analog, but I will make it digital.
All right.
Since I'm digital today. Please go ahead, AJ. You were gonna say something.
Motion to keep in old business.
Second.
Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, the last item on our old business is review of city ordinances. This has really been sort of geared with you as a commission. So whatever you'd like to discuss on this particular item, and then my recommendation, since I don't think we're gonna solve this issue tonight, would be to keep it in old business. That would be my recommendation to the commission so that we can further talk about this as we sort of move forward.
Any discussion on city ordinances this evening?
Does
Then-
Joe want to speak to the research that you emailed over today, which by the way, I added to, since I
Okay.
am online tonight, I added it to our Google Doc from the email.
Well, that would still go with the BMP. I didn't know, what I followed up with today on the BMP is I ran a comparison against New York City, Seattle, Portland, and Los Angeles for their forestry BMPs. We actually stack up pretty good the way the document is written, with just some recommendations. A lot of it is are we okay to cover this right now? Okay.
As long as it's regarding, yes, as long as it's regarding the ordinance piece of it, yes.
Okay, see, yeah, we already passed BMP, so the stuff I put in there today was for the BMP. I did publish some stuff earlier into there about ordinances, but we'll save that. I'll get it into the right place. Everybody will get copies, and we can talk about it efficiently. Otherwise, I'll probably wasting your time for that. And to go back over the BMP stuff, I think requires a motion, so I'll leave that alone. And is that true? I
Yeah,
shouldn't-
we've already
we
gone
talked,
through
so I
the
shouldn't be digging
BMP
into that
piece.
one.
That is correct.
Correct,
Commissioner.
all right.
My
Now-
apologies. I didn't realize it was just the BMP piece of it.
Yeah,
So-
that's why I raised those questions earlier. I was still unsure about where I should get my stuff. It looks like pretty much know what I'm supposed to do now, exactly, so.
I guess that before we move on, it doesn't sound like we have any particular items to kind of cover in regards to the tree ordinance piece, especially because, like, Joe, we're still kind of onboarding you to everything that we've been up to. So just to mention to read before our future meetings is that quick link tab to go to the tree ordinance research. I mentioned that there's a document notes_tree ordinance. And so in our past meetings, I've been kind of keeping track of our notes and research and discussion and starting to create this table where we're talking about the issues, which is one column, current, which is like currently what our ordinance says we're doing about said issue. And then there's a column for ideas for changes that we've been like starting to compile based on other ordinances that we've started to like kind of sift through and start to piece together what is relevant to the city of Worcester and what isn't relevant to our city needs. So just wanted to point that information
I'll
out
get
to
my
you.
work so far into that right spot, and that sounds like and I'll cover all that stuff before the next meeting.
So then a motion to table review of city ordinances,
Motion to keep in old business.
motion to keep an old business review of city ordinances. Thank you, Rob.
I need a second.
Second.
Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn,
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, there's nothing in tabled business at this point in time. So if there's nothing else, not that we can discuss anything, but if there's anything you want to add for the next agenda, you can do it now, or you can send it to me as we do usually. If not, then we need a motion to adjourn.
Is there any updates for 2026 meeting dates? Because I believe our meetings are only through December.
So those will be, my plan is to have them published for the next meeting. For our
Okay.
next meeting, we'll have them on the agenda there for what all of at least through June of 2026 will look like.
And the next meeting is a pretty quick turnaround.
Yes.
Yeah, I won't be at the next, just a heads up, I know it's in our Google Doc too, I won't be able to attend our next meeting. I will be at COP, the United Nations Conference of Parties for Climate Change. So excited to report back in December relevant urban forestry related topics. But I won't be here in our November meeting.
So the question then is do you want to still have that November 10th meeting, or does it make more sense just to postpone that since we're the end of October and just go with the December meeting? If Commissioner Winborn's not going to be there, it is a short turnaround anyway. Not sure how much everybody's going to get done by the time I get anything. So, but it's really up to the commission. I know the calendar got really tight there. We've had 3 meetings really close together. So, but whatever the commission's preference is fine.
I guess one question I would have for you, Rob, is at this point, after this meeting, you should have AJ and I's edits for the best management plan. So is that something that you want to be able to discuss
Ideally,
sooner
yeah.
than December?
I mean, ideally, yeah, but I don't know if I'll be able to turn around everything by the 8th of November, because that's next week.
Yeah.
Sure.
So depending on when it comes in. So I would say most likely anything I'm going to turn around is going to be in December.
And that would give you plenty of time to turn it around to be like top on our agenda for our December
Correct.
meeting.
Yep.
I don't really like canceling meetings, but I've got a couple hundred trees to plant in the next 2 weeks, so it wouldn't take too much to talk me into it.
I mean, again, Mr. Chairman, if we needed a second meeting in December because we needed it for some reason, right, we could quickly do something and, you know, and grab a second time if we really absolutely had to.
Joe, what do you think?
I'd be happy with it if we could get all, you know, if I look and we got all our reviews and everything in there and we're ready to go for December, that's fine. I don't want to come back for a November 10th meeting and we haven't,
we're just
we
looking
just
at
spun
each
our
other.
wheels and we
Yeah.
wasted time. And if it's very possible, if we need the extra time and we got some momentum going, we could meet again. That's all sounds good to me, so
Okay.
I'd like to motion that we eliminate that meeting and that the next meeting be December 10th. And at that time, we have a schedule for the next 3 or 4, I'd like to add to that, that we have a schedule ready for the next 3 or 4 meetings at that time.
Okay.
Yep.
And I would just add to that, Rob, too, as you're making the 2026 schedule, to like add in to account for the canceling of this November meeting. Because it does seem like January, February, the commission as a whole has like more time, given that, you know, growing seasons and all that fun jazz. But yeah,
Okay.
although I know that's not the
Make
case
sure
for
we got that all
y'all,
in motion and
but-
we'll be ready to roll.
All right, so second by Commissioner Elton. All right, so this is for the removal of the November 10th meeting.
Mhm.
So Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
I have a point of information, plus the removal, plus when you'll be able to schedule the other meetings?
yeah, that's already,
Already forgiven?
that's already
Yes.
taken care of.
Yes.
That's already on my agenda to take care of, so yes.
Yes.
And then Commissioner Winborn,
yes.
okay? We have Phyllis that had something to say, I think.
Thank you, Rob. And just a couple quick questions. I may have been out of the loop, but has the urban forestry master plan been adopted by the city council? Where does that, it has?
Yes.
I see Joy shaking her head. And the other quick question I have is the Google Doc with the ordinances, is that available to the public?
It's an internal draft
Oh, it's an
document
internal, okay.
that we use to put information together. And then so there's no communication, just so you know, Phyllis, there's no communication amongst the commission. It's sort of a information dump location. And
Got
then
it.
once we have everything in there, we will then put that all out and put it as part of an agenda item where it will be discussed. So there's no side discussions happening. It's just a place that we can put everything into, and then it allows me to be able to pull everything back out as needed to be able to build out the agenda and put it out there. So it's an internal document on our end.
I understand. Thank you. So Evelyn and her group, about a year ago, we started looking at ordinances on our own independently. We found some very interesting things with, for example, Cambridge. I don't know what cities you're looking at, but Cambridge, Philadelphia, AJ probably has done Providence, but I just want to put that out there because there are some interesting, for example, a fund that developers might put money into if they don't follow the ordinances, or a fund that people will put into if they cut down a tree without permission, that sort of thing. But just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I've been in touch with the community group Green Streets that's been like spearheading a lot of that research, and I've added it into our research.
Okay.
As well as like over the summer, I was also contacted, kind of through Evelyn, connected me with commissioners on the Green Worcester Commission as well, to share information that they're finding. But yeah,
Terrific.
Cambridge they hired a consulting firm that did a tremendous amount of research on ordinances. And then they made that all publicly available on their website, which is a nice inspiration of things we could do in
Right.
the end, after we're once we've decided on recommendations, creating that sort of documentation that we can then put on the Worcester website for folks to see why we came to these conclusions, which is part of what spearheaded creating this Google Doc folder to keep track of
Nice.
all of our notes.
Okay, thank you all. Appreciate it, Joy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We need a second.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, so Commissioner Elton,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Winborn,
Yes.
thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Joy.
Look forward to seeing you in December.
All righty.